Today we got the grounded mind on. He's like one of those what is it called? I would say like more towards like spiritual. He talking about clarity, being like I don't know, trying to be his higher self, trying to get to his higher self. He just be putting out like I guess like encouraging words out there on Instagram. So we're gonna get him on here right now. But yeah, we got the peace of mind on here. Get straight into it. Just waiting for him to hop in. Grounded mind. That's what it calls the grounded mind. All right, so we're just waiting on him for him to pop in. Yeah. But yeah, we're gonna just popping in. We about to have the grounded mind on here. Like I was saying, he's more of like a spiritual. I don't know if he's like a God believer, spiritual, but he believes in like getting to your higher self, about like clarity, how to like gain peace of mind. You be reading like a whole lot of the self-help books and all that. So definitely gonna get into like his. We definitely gonna get into like mental stuff and all. So but yeah, make sure y'all tap in, don't tap out. Y'all here, like, subscribe, all that. If y'all beginners here, yeah, y'all know I interview like rap artists, I interview singers, podcasters, but sometimes I'll go out the way and interview like people like today, like who just we putting out like videos of just self help, how to like gain like higher conscience and all that. So yeah, we definitely gonna get into something different today for the show. Let me see where he's at because I just sent him the link, but I'll see if we can get him in here. So y'all wait up. Yeah, so we're just waiting on him to pop in and we gonna get it going. All right, what do I gotta talk about right now? Let's see. Like, honestly, I haven't really been up to date with the news, but I did see that game. Well, I didn't watch the game, but I know the Spurs won yesterday. They beat the Knicks, which is I kind of knew they were gonna at least win one. Honestly, I thought they were gonna at least win like, the first, second game, and then maybe the Knicks would have won the third, but it was kind of first. So yeah, I guess now the Knicks are up by one. Spurs won one game, which is crazy because the Spurs ended up winning in New York. So I bet the crowd definitely wasn't feeling that shit. And there'll be even another crazy thing if they win again in New York. They'll be like, damn. So Knicks ended up winning while they were in the Spurs territory, and then now the Spurs are probably going to end up winning in the Knicks territory, which the Knicks weren't even having that show, especially the fans of the Knicks. Like they would like just fucking, I don't know, they were hating on like even the little Spur fans that were there. They weren't rocking with them. I seen like little clips of like the what's it called, Knicks fans, like I guess trying to jump like a Spurs fan. I seen one clip where they were tearing off like the jersey of a Spurs like fan. They try to light it on fire. So the Knicks definitely got like a huge fan base when it comes to that, like rocking with them and all. Most def. I seen even another video where like some older guy was like running away from a crowd of like Knicks fans trying to get away from them. 'Cause I guess they were trying to jump him and so I could see like how down the Knicks fans really are when it comes to rocking with a team. But who do y'all got like in the comments? Like y'all think like the Spurs are gonna come back and end up winning? Or do you feel like the Knicks are gonna just take over after this? Like Spurs are only gonna have this one game and the Knicks are gonna win the rest. Honestly, if it comes down to it, I feel like the Spurs are actually gonna win. I think they're gonna win the next game. The next game after that, I feel like they might win. The next game after that is probably gonna be next. It's gonna be like most likely it's probably gonna come down to the seven, in my opinion. And then the Spurs are probably gonna end up winning that. I like maybe two, the last shot, two Wimby's. Well, I don't know whoever's gonna take that shot, and then they're gonna end up winning the game, the world championship and all. But yeah, that shit is definitely a game. I'm not gonna lie, for sure, for sure. But I'm a Laker fan. Like when it comes down to all that, so even though like the Lakers aren't doing it good, freaking what's it called? What's his name? Luca was out, but I don't know. Hopefully LeBron does come back. I know LeBron he gets like a lot of hate for like being too old already. People saying that he can't even play no more. But if y'all looked at like his games and all, he was definitely like holding it down for the Lakers, even though they couldn't overcome OKC, but he's definitely a key role in the Lakers, and I feel like he should stay. To the pay cut reason, I feel like he should at least take that pay cut just to bring some couple better players on the team, re-sign some of the same players like Rui and all. And then Austin Reeves, I feel like they should keep too. He's actually a decent player. They're all healthy for next year. I feel like Lakers could do something. No lie, most definitely. Oh shit. So we're still waiting on him. He said that he has to make like a account right now. So we're just waiting on that. But other than that, what else? Oh yeah, freaking I'm big like sports like NFL fan too. So I want to see the Raiders like do something this season for sure. For sure. Okay, he's right here. That's it.
All right, brother. I'm in. So sorry for the delays.
Oh no, it's all good. It's all good. Welcome to the platform, Rap Wars. Let the people know who you are and where you're coming from.
Hello, everybody. I am the Grounded Mind. I'm from Canada, Alberta, Canada. And yeah, very happy to be here, sir. Thank you for having me.
Oh, no, you already know. We definitely have to have you on the platform. All right, and are you currently residing in Canada?
Yeah, you bet. You bet. I live about 2 hours west of Edmonton, Alberta.
Oh, I feel that. And how'd you get your name, actually? The one you call yourself?
Uh, yeah, that actually came from I've been using the AI, and it kept talking about being grounded, how how I explain myself. And if you've seen my page, a lot of the things I talk about comes from, having sort of a grounded mindset. And I just kept drifting towards, the grounded guru, the grounded dude, and then it was just the grounded mind seemed to fit best, so I went with that.
All right. All stuff. I feel that. All right. What does clarity look and feel like for you?
Well, clarity is more like a process. Um, I mean, for me, after years of experience, ups and downs, that type of thing, I've basically collected it all as a certain situation that you find yourself in your mind where you've sort of uncovered all the truths about any situation. It could be about yourself, it could be about others. Basically, just questions that you resolve, you recognize in yourself, and then at some point you've got nothing left but the truth. So that's where the clarity lies, is being able to see things for what they are, to see people for who they are, to see yourself for who you are.
Oh yeah, most def. Before we keep going, I want to give a shout out to my pops, my dad. Y'all want to check him out? Spoken Wars. It's his birthday today. He's gonna have a show, like a what's it called? A music show, music review on IG. So if y'all want to tap into that, Spoken Wars.
Shout out to Noel's dad. Peace for that.
Oh yeah, you already know.
And
Okay,
then,
okay. So I
do
feel
you
you.
mind if I do you mind if I give a quick shout out?
Oh yeah, most def. Go ahead.
Yeah. Firstly, I'd like to give a shout out to Jesus, our heavenly Father, for the opportunities that have become, and He is the Almighty Creator. And secondly, I would like
Most
to
def.
give a shout out to all of my friends and family, everybody that's ever supported me along the way, and also to yourself for this opportunity to speak my truth.
Oh no, you already know. We for sure got to get your story out. For
Appreciate
sure.
that.
Okay, if you had total peace of mind, like tomorrow, what is one thing you would like stop worrying about?
The fact that I still keep worrying about things. You don't ever stop. Like, I mean, that's part of being human. So it'd be nice to not have those, but at the same time, it keeps you straight, right? So, um, yeah,
For
I
sure.
think I think that's the answer.
All right, all right. Okay, pretty much a straightforward answer right there. Okay, and what is the difference between clearing your mind and avoiding your problems in your experience?
For me, clearing my mind is hitting the problems head on. So, if you have a situation, some people are going through divorces, some people are having issues at work with coworkers or a boss. Um, those problems don't go away until you hit them head on. You have to. Like, in my experience, it does cause a lot of uncomfort with people because people don't like, when you're direct with them, or they don't like being put on the spot. People also don't like to see themselves in a lot of ways. So, um, I think the idea is just to speak your mind, speak your truth. So it does take a little inner work, but yeah, that's the key.
Speaking the truth, what is the biggest source of mental clutter in your life right
Say that again. No, like
What is the biggest source of mental clutter?
mental clarity.
Mental clutter. Like, what is the biggest source of it?
Um, I think discernment is the main key. Recognition and discernment. I'm actually currently working on sort of a spreadsheet that I can distribute to some friends and families and just see how it works out. But it's basically recognizing what you're thinking and then being able to come up with you know educated and factual based choices without fooling
Mm.
yourself or misleading yourself. Like come up with the proper answers. Don't live in a fictitious world where you tell yourself lies or you believe things that other people said. Like I try to live more on factual based, and I think that when you use discernment, you're able to separate the BS from the facts, or at least try to. The whole goal is just trying to separate logic from emotion in some ways, because emotion can really throw people off track. And it's not like I'm not emotional, like I am, um but it's being able to work around that.
Hey, no, for real, for real. So, like, disregarding your emotions and just get it done, no
it's
matter what.
not it's not disregarding them. Like you have to accept that human aspect. um it's acknowledging that they're there, but seeing them for what they are. So when I say like all encompassing, everything, all the information that's going on up here, as it comes in, it's like, what does that mean to me? Is it true? Is that a truth? Or is that just, me reacting inner through my heart that, is this real? Is it worth being upset over? Am I, I'm sad about that, but is it okay to be that way? Yes. And then, then looking for the real reasons behind the emotion, is what is it about that that's triggering me?
Yeah, like get more deep into it, like understand yourself more.
Yeah, that's the whole premise. Like, I mean, I'm 56, so 56 years of my life I've spent inside my head just, thinking about my own bullshit. Where I came to the point where
Yes.
yeah, I just came to the point where it was like, this isn't serving me, and then from there you can sort of discern other people, but you have to really look at yourself before anything.
All right, no, that's real right there. All right. Are there any conversations, decisions, or commitments you're currently avoiding that might be draining your peace?
No, I mean there has been. Currently right now, I'm sort of, living with some purpose, and I've taken my weight and asked God to help me carry it. It doesn't mean it's gone, but it's not mine to hold. It's, that's the whole purpose of God is allowing for him to take your sins. So in that respect, it doesn't remove any of it, but it allows you to do more service to the creator and step in a different position. Now, do I have other things on the go that I'm trying to do? Like, yes, I'm trying to get a passport so I can go to a songwriters convention. So I'm in the middle of trying to get that done. If that's an attempt at getting things accomplished.
And no, for real, for real. Is it like hard to get like a passport out there in Canada?
No, and this is going to go to a little bit of personal stuff, but that's okay. So when I was younger, my mother and I moved from Vancouver to Alberta, and she married, and so when I was like 6 or 7, they changed my last name, and so my last name has been that my stepfather's last name, like basically my whole life, even though my birth certificate shows something different. So now when I'm trying to get my passport, I've got two different identities and they don't like that. So so I'm trying to do a
Oh
workaround.
yeah, it just makes things even harder and all.
Yeah, because I mean they want to know which one are you. And so that's causing confusion. And I have had my passport. They used to give them away without any concern, but right now they've changed the regulations on it, so they're forcing me to change my name, and I'm probably going to go back to my original family name so that it's easier. I just need to get a driver's license, and then it corresponds with my passport, and away I go.
Oh, I feel that. So you're trying to like go to like a different country to do those songwriting events.
Yeah, there's some cool stuff. I also am meeting cool friends in America. um Right now, I've been offered to go to like a songwriting uh, retreat kind of a thing. It's not big, but it was an invitation that I am taking as a really good opportunity just to go and do some networking, do some learning about songwriting, and just the experience overall.
No, for real. Try and get your name out there and all.
Yeah, and I mean, you know, I think I take a little bit different approach to a lot of things. Like I am trying to get my name out there, but I've never really been one that looks at, stardom or fame or I kind of give up all that when I was a kid. I ended up chasing drilling rigs in the oil and gas industry instead of, doing this, playing guitar for a living, because the money was there. It was instant. It was good money. It was hard work. I was in shape. And I think I was leaning on experiences that I learned from my real father, who was a blues musician in Vancouver, and he
All
used to
right, all
run
right.
jam sessions and whatnot, and he was a very well known musician in Vancouver circles, and anybody from Vancouver remembers him, like Danny Tripper. He was a big name, played with some big names. But one of his songs was, big in the small time, small in the big time. And I just, when I looked at the whole thing and seen where his career went, I just thought, it's a tough gig. It's a tough go out in that expanse. And I went for security. So I went and did the
Yeah,
later life.
most definitely. Like knowing like a steady paycheck coming in all, no
Yeah.
ups and downs.
Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
for real, for real. All right,
So
then
now,
you said that your dad was like he was like pretty big in his area, like as a musician. Was he making money off of his music?
I mean, he was making a living, but he was a carpenter, right? So he still had to, work um, when he wasn't doing gigs. I think that was a lot of it. Like, if there wasn't any work or shows or venues coming up, um, then he would go do freelance carpentry, building cabinets for people's and, helping on build houses and whatnot. But yeah, he was doing blues jams in a biker bar called the American Hotel in Vancouver. And I mean, a very small venue, but still well known to the locals.
All right, all right. So you got pretty much like a musical background going, like in your family doing music and all. So you pretty much wanted to follow your dad's footsteps.
Originally I did, around the time 14, 15, I sort of ran away from home and living with my buddy and and his family, and they were building their own guitars and tearing apart soundboards and you know making swapping pickups on their guitars, doing all kinds of crazy stuff, and just it was a fascinating world for me. And we were jamming to like Motley Crue and Judas Priest and things like that. And yeah, it was interesting because I was learning about it, and then that seemed to be the natural progression. Like I kept thinking about my dad, and it was around the same time that I was just sort of starting to connect with him too, because he was never really around or part of my life.
No, I feel that for sure. Okay, what specific environments, activities, or routines consistently bring you the most clarity?
Um, well, I like walking. Um, Usually, I take the dog and go for half hour, 45-minute walk. It's a chance to go collect my thoughts and get in touch with nature. Just being out in the elements, whether it be sunshine or 10 feet of snow here in Canada. It's still kind of always an experience, even though it's the same walk. Every day is just a little bit different, like maybe one day is a little overcast, but I sort of seem to lose myself in that moment because it's more of an external, uh what's the word I'm looking for, just an external environment that sort of changes my mindset. Get out of the house, get away from the guitar and the songwriting for a bit, get away from the social media and the the need to make a post for the day or whatever. When I go do that, I'm in a different place. So
Yeah, for real, for real. And then like even with like all these technology these days, like phones, laptops, like people forget to even go outside, like breathing fresh air, like smell some flowers, like
yeah,
take a walk.
yeah, and you know what? And I mean, the guitar does that for me too, but it's just a different thing. Like, um, but even that, sometimes it's like I've overplayed. My fingers are sore, my brain is sore, the headphones are hurting my head. It's just put it down and yeah, go for a walk. It's refreshing. The dog loves it. It's good for me. I've lost like 40 pounds in the last year and a half or something, so like it's steps towards betterness at all times.
Is there a time or day when you feel like your mind is the quietest and you're most focused?
Yeah, it's probably first thing in the morning. I usually and more so lately, I've been trying to wake up and read some pages of the Bible and just focus on the silence. Not no social media, no music, no external, no other people, just me and some good reading and it just allows me to wake up in a nice serene environment and then go about my day.
All right, so you do you do that pretty much every day? Like you start off like reading the Bible in the morning?
I mean, not every day, and I think even God is fairly forgiving of that. but I try to, like I have my book laid out. It's always open, and I've been getting through it. I only just got my Bible like a month ago, and I'm in Numbers. So I don't know, it's maybe 100 pages in or something, maybe more. So it's for me. I may read 1 or 2 pages in a sitting, and I take time to just sit back and absorb that. So for me, I've invested myself to be informed of what's in there. So to me, that's sort of a peaceful venture. I never really did a lot of reading. Um, I was more about learning from an external, what I see environment, and yet in comparison to, like, say, my mother, who she's got 10 books going at the same time. Like, she's got one on the coffee table, one on the kitchen counter, one in the bathroom, two beside her bed, one by her reading chair. Like, so
Yeah,
yeah,
a
it's
whole
just,
lot.
it doesn't come natural for me. So for me to take this time is, I'm just trying to digest. And so yeah, that is sort of my goal, is to wake up every day and read some scripture. And I do it, maybe 2 or 3 times in a day, sometimes before bed, and then a prayer before bed or whatever. But I think it's important for me. Like, I feel better reading it. I feel more knowledgeable about what our history is. And so yeah.
All right. That's what's up right there. If you could delegate, drop, or delay one thing on your to-do list, what would it be?
um I don't know, like, that's um I kind of feel like I don't really have an option to delay anything. Whatever is coming at me is coming, whether I want it or not, if that makes any sense at all. Like, that's just how it works. I think you've got me stumped on that one. I don't really have an answer
Yeah,
for it.
yeah. You can't really choose. I feel that. All right, what is one habit you commit to that helps you reset when you feel overwhelmed?
Oh yeah, that's a good one. That actually, I have been working on more and more through my process, and it's basically just recognizing. The exercise for me is always recognition. To catch when I'm going astray, and that's the lesson that I try to teach everybody. In my social media pages, just all you got to do is recognize what you're doing. And so when I get caught up, I get a little bit overwhelmed. Um, I try to take a deep breath. That works so well. Take 3 or 4, and I even tell friends and any friends that know me, take a breath. You know, take a few. Just breathe. Close your eyes for a few minutes. Reset, and then go back and try it again, or reevaluate the situation. But yeah, I try not to get
Yeah,
too
don't breathe.
worked up about anything, 'cause I did have a habit in the past of overreacting. So, again, anybody knows me knows that. So, that's what I work on, and that's a good question. Thank you.
Yeah, sure, sure. You found out a way to control it, you know.
Yeah, I wouldn't say that I have control of it. But I mean, the whole process is a it's a learning process. I mean, I'm just trying to um, stay consistent, and that's the trick. Because I'm not perfect at it, but I definitely have more control over how I deal with things. That's for sure.
Yeah, no, most def. All right, where were you born and raised?
I was born in Vancouver, Canada. Um, I lived there till about 5 years old, and My mother got sick of my dad's wild, crazy antics of being a musician, being in the hippie era, all kinds of crazy stuff going on back then. So she left and came to Alberta and met my stepfather. And I was raised in a sort of a family farm type community, um, small town. Everybody knows everybody. Everybody knows everybody's business. Um, but still, like my kindergarten to grade 12 school was like 300 people. My graduating class was 12 people. And I just went to my daughter's graduation. There was like 300 kids or something. Like it was unbelievable. It was so huge. But and it was so fun too. But yeah, it's
Yes.
that's sort of my. Oh, go ahead.
All right. Okay. So, would you say like Vancouver is like a bigger like city compared to Alberta?
Yeah, so Vancouver is the biggest city. It's not the capital of British Columbia, but it is their big city. And I think there's a couple million people there. The town that I live in is a very small town. There might be 6,000 people. So, and the
All
closest
right. So
city.
you barely lived out there in Vancouver before like leaving to Alberta.
Yeah, yeah. Like, for a young person, none of that would have mattered to me then, the being the city life or any of that. Um, and especially since when I was born, where we lived in was right in the heart. It was Kitsilano, which is right in the heart of Vancouver. Like, now those are all $1 million houses. Like it's the place to be. But for back then, these are just old shacks that everybody lived in, and now they're just beautiful, character homes and whatnot. So it's a different place. But yeah, I grew up on a farm and a small town. The closest city is 2.5 hours away. That's Edmonton, and that city is probably the same size as Vancouver in terms of actual city dimension. Um,
Okay.
but yeah, I mean, if you need to go to Costco or any of those big places, like that's where you have to go. Even my bank, I have to drive an hour and a half. For the bank that I deal with, although there are other banks, but the one I'm dealing with is like a
Yeah.
drive.
All right. So, how was like the environment out there in Alberta? Just like what's it called? Like people outside, like how were they? Were like most people like friendly at all? Did people just keep to themselves most of the time?
I mean, I think it's very similar anywhere. I've done a bit of traveling. You're out of Vegas, right?
No, Los
Oh,
Angeles,
Los Angeles.
California.
Um, I've been to Los Angeles too, briefly. Just I was in Disney land or whatever years ago, but I think people are kind of the same all over. Albertans are very proud. They're a lot more like I would say Texans in terms of it's a little more rough around the edges, more cowboy, if you will. Everything's oil and gas, which is very similar to Texas. There's a lot of money. Um, but the people are out there working hard. People are hardworking. There's other industries like forestry and tourism and stuff. We have beautiful mountains in Alberta. Where I live now, I'm like an hour away or a little bit over an hour to Jasper, Canada, which is a beautiful national park. Like they have gondolas that you can ride to the top of the mountain and you can dine on the top. There's a restaurant up there that overlooks like the whole valley where Jasper is. It's massive. Like you can see mountains everywhere from up there. And
Or
there's sheep and there's beautiful rivers, beautiful mountain lands. Like it's just amazing. And then, south of that, another 2 hours or 3 hours is Banff, which is another national park. So there's a lot of landmarks and beauty and Albertans are very proud of that. So and me being sort of in between Alberta and British Columbia, British Columbia also has the mountains, so either way, it's kind of like the best of both worlds in either of the provinces. But people themselves, they're very much the same. Everybody's pretty chill. Um, but I don't think the old saying that Canadians are the nicest people is entirely true. Like, it's just like all over. People can be good or bad.
Yeah, like no, I hear you right there. Like people have different personalities, you know.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yep. All right. So, would you say that you grew up like poor, middle class, like rich?
Yeah, we started out poor, like really poor. I remember the first place that we lived in when my mother and I moved to Alberta was a little shack. And when I say a shack, like I mean, maybe I don't know, 30 by 30 or something. Like it was tiny. Maybe a little bigger. I don't really remember, but I do remember that my dad gave my mom money to buy a window, and they were going to cut the window out for my bedroom. And instead, my mother took the money and bought groceries and drew a window with a sunlight and a deer on my wall. Um, but, you know, we didn't have running water. We actually had an artesian well. Um, you know what that is?
Okay. Yeah, like a well. You can,
Well, it's a natural spring water well that never stops running. So, and yeah, we just had this well and the water just kept running out of it and it was ice cold, ice cold. So if you wanted to have a bath, you would go out with some pails of water and haul the water into the house and pour it into they'd heat it up in a tub. And then as kids, we'd have a bath in this little steel tub. My mom would wash my hair and stuff in it. So it was different. It was poorer times. We weren't without. We had, there was a lot of family and support that way, but I mean, everybody was poor, or so it seemed to us. We used to
yeah.
fight over one tractor in the sandbox that was missing a wheel. All of us kids, there'd be like six of us fighting over one toy in the sandbox. Like, but
All right. Okay, so all right, so you grew up pretty poor and all. Like everyone in that area, it's like didn't have as much money.
yeah, and I mean, at the time, uh, it might have been poor, but as time went on, people grew up and got jobs. Like my stepdad's family, people were growing up. A lot of my uncles were in the oil field. People were starting to make their lives. My dad was working in the oil field, and my stepdad, and so we weren't without. But we had to start small, and eventually we moved into like a mobile home just on my grandfather's land, and we lived there and it was beautiful. We had a beautiful acreage. We had a dog and lots of room to run around, and little swamps and things we could run and play in with as kids. And it was just, as a kid, it was a pretty cool environment. Lots to explore.
Yeah, most definitely. No, I feel that right there. And then when you started to go to school and like elementary, middle school, like how was that? How were your grades? Like how were the kids out there?
Yeah, so moving on from where I would have been in that mobile home, we moved out closer to where I live now, and so I had to reintegrate with all new people again, and that's where the actual farming, the real farming community came in. We're 15 minutes from the closest town out on an acreage, and the nearest neighbor is like a mile down the road, kind of deal. So it was pretty spaced out, but
Like
you know,
countryside.
Yeah, yeah, and that's where the small town school was, the kindergarten from grade 12, 300 students. But overall, I really enjoy it because I remember everybody, as opposed to a school with, say 300 graduates. Like I remember everybody from school, like all the kids. Mostly I do. And I still get a lot of people coming up to me and it's like, "Hey, how you doing?" And I'm like, but it's just because they're really little and now they're full grown adults in their 40s or, like, but
Yeah.
overall, I wouldn't change that for the world. I think that small town community and sense of belonging was very stabilizing for me, even though I was very rebellious in those years, like going through to graduation. My 11 years old to 19 years old living there um, was a big was a big growth for me.
Okay, would you say that they had like good school systems too out there? Like the
S-
education was good out there too?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I didn't really have anything to compare it by, but one thing I will say is that uh, they were one of the first schools. The one I went to was one of the first schools to offer computer literacy so they had computer 10, 20, and 30, which, was basically MS DOS. And that was when they first came out. So our school got like, 15 or 20 computers. And they were one of the first schools in our division to have a program. So, you know, I had exposure to that in my like last 2, 3 years of high school, which, you know, create or help my transition into like today's, computer
Y-
dominated
Yeah, today's
societies.
age.
Yeah, like, when I think about my parents or people my parents' age, their peers, and they're always like, the damn computer, this, and or me, I got it figured. I just take a little more time. Like I don't fight it. I accept it, and that's very similar to music, the way it's transpiring these days.
No, for real, for real. And then you said that you started becoming rebellious. And then you said before that you ended up what's it called? Running away. Like when did that happen?
When I was 15, I was pretty rebellious. Um, I actually spent 3 years in grade 10. Like I got kicked out my first year because it's just you know too much talking, too much yapping, too much socializing. And then the next year, I think I quit, which wasn't a good decision, but I mean, I had to live with that. And then the third year, I just finally applied myself and just said, you know what, I got to get it done. It wasn't because I was dumb. It was just, I just couldn't stop long enough to focus and get through it. So I think that was the lesson at that time because I went through 11 and 12 and graduated, have my diploma. So it was just maybe more of a maturity thing at the time.
No, no, most deaf. So you ended up not going to school at one point and then you ended up started going back again. You ended up getting your diploma, graduating.
Yeah, I mean, I had good
Oh,
support. My mother was always very supportive and just be like, don't give up, keep trying, forgiving of me being such a little asshole when I was younger. Like just I had no respect for authority, and I'm sure I know I'm not the only one because it was my generation that really kind of put that to the test, I think. But yeah, it was just
going
a
against the
rebellious.
grain.
Yeah, it was exactly. It was just sign of the times, and of course, the music was very rebellious. The Motley Crues and Van Halen's and stuff. Everybody was just living this rebellious life, and it's Ozzy Osbourne's, and
Yeah, no. Oh yeah, most def. Yeah, I definitely rock with Ozzy for sure. He's definitely like known worldwide too.
yeah,
Right, all right. And then okay, so you ended up. Did you ever keep in touch with like your pops like during that time, during like your teenage years? Would you visit him or would he come and visit you?
like my real dad.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I never really had much to do with him. I remember one time I was a kid. My mother sent me on a Greyhound bus down to Calgary, which it's another city 3 hours south of Edmonton. It's a very large city, and he was down there. And so she put me on a bus one time at 10, and then I don't think I seen him again at all until I was around 15, and I went and visited him one Christmas, and we sort of, got a chance to spend some time. And then
Chopped it up.
from yeah, and then from there, I moved in with him when I was 18. I lived with him in Vancouver for a year and went to school, and that didn't really work out too well because he was spending more time in the Legion than he was at home. So I ended up I ended up moving in with a buddy of mine from Richmond, which is a suburb of Vancouver, and uh,
Oh,
yeah, we were being bad, but I had to make money somehow to stay in school and help pay rent. So
okay. So you were working at that time?
no, I was just selling drugs in school.
Oh
I mean,
man.
that isn't the message I
Okay.
want everybody to know about, but that's the truth. That's what it was. He was helping me by supplying and I was selling, and it was like, oh, well, I got to make a living. And that's what I did. But I managed to get through grade 11, and then I, I put it all behind me. That really wasn't my gig, but it was the only way I could survive without coming home with my tail between my legs.
Yeah, most stuff. So your pops was supplying you drugs to sell.
No, no,
Your
no.
friend.
Just my friend. And from what I understand, he's doing very well for himself too, not dealing. So he's got a landscape or something like that going on. So
Okay, yeah, I was kind of glitching. We good. Okay, so you were said that you were selling drugs. Like, were you making good amount of money doing that?
yeah, I think the volume just turned down for some reason. Did something change?
Oh, one second. Yeah, kind of someone called me. Yo, yo, yo.
Yeah, I mean, I can just barely hear you.
Oh, shoot. Let me see if I can fix it real quick. Give me a second. Oh, that's fine. Hold on. Give me 1 sec.
You know what I can do is I can maybe put my headphones on and I can hear you a little better.
Yo, yo, yo.
Yeah, I can hear you a little better now. Hopefully that'll work.
Oh,
It's just
okay.
the batteries are
Yeah.
low. So
Oh no,
unprepared
it's
for
all
this.
good. It's all good. All right. So going back to the drug selling, were you making a good amount of money off of that during that time?
Nah, nah.
You weren't one of
No,
those
we
like kingpins.
no, we were just some school kids just thinking we were cool. We weren't. There was way more going on. There's gangs and all kinds of stuff. I didn't want no heat with that. I was just helping friends out and stuff, keeping a
Yeah,
low
just
profile,
trying to make a little bit of money
enough
on the
to pay
side.
my rent. Yeah, that's all it was, and I was very lucky. His family was so good to me, took me in, and they were just they treated me like one of their own. His mother used to make us amazing dinners and stuff. Just she took care of me even though she didn't really know me, and and he did too. Like we were good buddies. We spent a lot of time together. But it was my only choice. Being away from home, like where I live now,
So
where my family was.
this was
Yeah,
at 19. You said like 18, 19.
18. Yeah.
All right, all right. Okay, and before that, like, what was your friend groups like? Like, who would you hang around with most of the time in your team?
Headbangers, headbangers. Anybody that was into listening to Metallica and like the same type of styles of music that I did. We always seemed to find each other when we were walking around town. Just anybody that had long hair seemed to be cool and played
Okay, so
foosball. If you played foosball and pool, you were cool.
all right, all right. So, would you say that your type of like friend group and you like sticked out?
Say that again.
I was saying, did you guys like stick out from like the rest of the school, like on the way, how the way you dressed and how the way you looked?
I mean, I at one point I think I tried to stick out, like I wanted to look the part. Whether or not that came off, I have no idea.
Yeah,
But
let's
it
go.
was it was more of
No, for real.
a my own tape playing in my head about how I perceived myself than it was actual fact. How other people see me, I don't know. But we all were trying to grow our hair long and wear fancy boots and tight Levi jeans. Show off a little
Oh,
hair on our chest. Total bar
yeah.
stars.
Hey, no, for real. I'm already knowing. Okay, and you said that there was gang members like in your area, like growing up. Like, did you ever like see them like commit crimes, or did you ever like try to get like intrigued or like try to like join that type of lifestyle?
Not ever. No, at one point I was going to this school and there was at the end of school we were all coming outside and there was a whole truckload of guys jumped out of the back of a truck with baseball bats and machetes and I just thought, yeah, I don't want nothing to do with that.
Yeah, just moved away from that. To
Yeah,
keep your distance.
I've always been my own man. I've never been one to be join groups or follow I wasn't even gonna follow anybody on any of the social media, but then I realized it's sometimes a bit helpful.
Yeah, no, for real, bro. Okay, and at what age did you start getting into music?
It would have been, I mean, as a young kid, I always loved music, and I always seemed to have this. I would hear a song on the radio, and I'd be, you know what I mean? When I'm talking around 7, 8, 9, when that type of thing becomes important, at least I think it was at that time. Um, but I always seem to have this ability to pick out what was going to be a good song. I would hear a song, it may have been the first time played on the radio, and I'd be like, that song is banging. And then next thing you know, it's top one, the number one song all over the place. Just seem to know. But obviously, everybody else did. It wasn't special that I picked up on it, but I just always seemed to gravitate towards, good beats and whatnot. So, but I never really started to play until I was about 15, right in around that same rebellious era.
Okay, and then like music wise, like did you guys like listen to like American like music, or was it more based on like Canadian artists?
No, man. I mean, in Canada, everything is American. I mean, I shouldn't say that. Most of it was American, but I mean, we got Shania Twain, we got Brian Adams. We had Streetheart, we had Red Rider. I think Harlequin, if I'm not mistaken. Maybe I'm not correct on that. Um, who else? There's a Jerry Doucette was a musician my father played with. Um, he sings that song, "Mama, let that boy play some rock and roll." You know that song? You maybe have heard that.
Oh yeah, yeah. I'm familiar with that.
Yeah. So I mean,
Oh
Canada had definitely some feet in the arena for that, but and even in acting, we still have a lot. But the stuff that I was really, was the LA scene rocking, like, Motley Crue, Rat, Ozzy, just hair straight back, like, falling off the stage drunk with a bottle of Jack Daniels. Like I was just so caught up in that.
yeah.
I mean,
That rock
kids are so
star lifestyle.
impressionable. What's that?
That rock star lifestyle and all.
Yeah, and I was sort of caught up in that. Um, as any kid, you know, I'm sure does. We're all impressionable about our idols and stuff, which is why now I really feel it's very important to, lead, like by a good example versus, trying to, I don't want kids thinking it's cool running around drinking a 60 of Jack or 40 of Jack. Like, you'll die. You know what I mean? Like, it's just,
Oh
that
yeah.
shit's powerful.
Get your stomach pumped and all.
Right. I don't know how we lived through it all, but a lot of that craziness came from that, just trying to be as wild as everybody else was making themselves out to be.
Yeah,
But yeah,
for real, for real.
I didn't stay in that very long though, like I sort of gravitated away from it.
Yeah, it was just like a stage you were going through at the time.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
So 15, 16, you started writing music, and then you also were playing the guitar at that time.
Yeah, you bet. Mostly I started out playing guitar. And then, I'm sitting there and I'm thinking, what am I going to do with this thing? I might as well write a song. Um, my parents used to let us jam in the basement. So we'd sit down and write a song. Sometimes my mom would write us a song just so we had something to go by because we had no clue. We were just ripping on stuff, seeing how loud we could go and, just testing the boundaries. But, but yeah, we just started out like that. And then eventually, um, like I sort of moved away from all my friends from high school where we were doing, um, one of my friends his parents would let us party in they had this garage with an upper floor, and I mean it would hold 30 people. It was, and we would be up there on the weekends just jamming away hard, and we'd have all kinds of friends from school in there just partying, and it was pretty fun. But a lot of our stuff, like we didn't have a singer, and none of us was confident enough to sing. I went to studio engineering school in Edmonton, and we found a guy that played bass and sang, and so then we threw him on the mic, and we made a
You
couple
guys
of
made a whole
songs.
band.
Yeah, yeah, we finally became a complete band, So
Yeah, that's fire.
yeah, it was pretty
Okay,
fun
did you guys
times.
ended up like? Did you guys end up like performing like what is it called, like at events?
Well, we did all the jams like every weekend, and then I think the only we might have did a high school performance once. I can't quite remember, but and then we also did there was a big jamboree, like a local festival in one of the local towns, another small town where they have a thing called Gold Dust Days, and they had this great big. It was called uh, I think it was called Gold Dust Days Jamboree or something. Anyways, and we went on that. I mean, it was the rage. There was all kinds of great musicians and stuff out there, and it was a big deal for us.
Like, did you make a name for yourself at that event? Like, did people start noticing you more as an artist?
Yeah, I think a lot of our friends that came there kind of already knew, and then for anybody that was from out of town, they, they recognized us. What our performance wasn't perfect or grand in any way, like, my strings broke during the thing, and I had to grab another guitar quick and finish the set. But we did it. The show went on, and we prevailed, and we got a lot of praise as young guys, which which we needed. But we also got some good critiquing back from it too, like what to do next, because there was a lot of other actual professional musicians around us, and we were just the kids from the garage band.
I just trying to make a name for yourself. Just trying to come up.
Yeah,
All right, all right.
yeah.
And then, what time did you start like taking your like music seriously?
It actually, I only recently really kind of started diving into it like wholeheartedly. I've always written songs, and I have a booklet, a big red binder that I've written all kinds of things on, that if I could find it, I could probably go back and revisit some of those things. But since then, I'd say, in the last year, I really just jumped in, and it's mostly because of life experience. I've just, I've always, I have this thing where if I experience something that I am emotional about, I write it down. I find that,
Mm.
writing it out um, helps me separate my thoughts. So, which is also sort of the process for, my grounded mind concept. But, and I write everything out, and then I look at it and I go, damn, that could be a song. And then lately it's just like within 5 minutes, it's like I got a thought in my mind, and boom, out comes a song from beginning to
All
end.
right, so
Yeah.
so your music process is pretty like quick with it. Like you're able to write like a song like in like minutes now.
If the emotion is there, absolutely, because everything that I can possibly think of, or that I've been thinking about, is right in front of me. Like it's right in the prefrontal cortex or whatever. Like it's right there. So yeah, it does kind of come that way. But like I do live reviews um, on TikTok, where the music reviewers, one of them in particular, the songwriter, shout out to songwriter, um, they'll have like a little, uh, they put out an ad. So like Thursday, we're doing he gives us a title name, a song title name. This week's title is The Match. Um,
All right, all right.
yeah, and so then the the idea is I give you the title, you write the song. So I found that yesterday, and then I used ChatGPT, and I said, give me every single thought or idea based around the match, because I could write it out, but it's so much faster to have chat give give all the scenarios, say, surrounding the match, like a match made in heaven, for example. That's one that most people comes to mind, right? So the other one could be like you lit a match, you know, or we have matching shirts, or what I mean. Like there's different word terms for the word. So I chose to go like
Right.
gladiator style, and my song is coming in hot. It's a rap, Run DMC, Beastie Boys, Limp Bizkit style, with a little flavor of
All right.
Corn and Metallica in it, and it's a hip hop monster. I think like it's gonna come well, or I hope it does, anyways. But that was my idea. Was I'm coming in to battle the rest of the songwriters tomorrow. You know what I mean? Like, um,
Or head to head.
yeah, like I'm taking it as a challenge, and so all those ideas, I just looked at everything, and the full breakdown that I got from the AI, and I picked out all the things that sort of resonated, and I thought, you know what, I'm not gonna do a song about match made in heaven, because that's the obvious, it seems like. So I'm treating it, this is like a match. This is the match. So that's how I
Like
approached the song,
the war.
and then Yeah, and then it just within 10 minutes I had it built. I put it into Suno and
Hey,
I popped out just a crazy song.
hey, that's fire. What is Suno? So like people who don't know about it.
Yeah. Suno is an AI model that you can generate prompts to create music. So if I have a song, I can take my song uh, with the premium version. There's two ways you can do it. Anybody that just wants to jump on the Suno website, they can create a song right now. Just give it a title. You know, so we can call it the podcaster. And you just say, generate a song about podcasts, and the podcaster asking crazy questions. And boom, it'll do that. It'll write you a full song, like, you know, as good of a song as you probably heard. Yeah, it's AI. It's not real, but I approach it differently. I think it's a tool. Like I could use it to create catalogs for music, for
Yeah,
other
nah, for real.
aspiring artists. You know,
Yeah,
um, but so the model is basically just a way to anybody could write a song and put in some prompts. If you check other people's prompts on other songs that people are doing, I that's what I do. I steal people's ideas all the time, but it's to get certain sounds because the AI recognizes description. And so the better way you describe your prompts, sometimes the better the result is. And then you end up spinning it like a jukebox, and you can get 10 different songs of the same uh, of your same
same
song that
concept.
you've written. Yeah.
All right. So you end up like using that app, like you have a written song already, and then you end up using that app to like make the song better or like change up a little bit about it.
Yeah. Like I also use it. Like I sample in guitar pieces that I know, create songs that way too, so that it's not just AI doing it. A lot of my songs are strictly AI with my songwriting in them. But I'm trying to move it more towards things that I create. Just that I don't want to lose that artistry, and out of respect to other artists that are out there that feel that AI is taking over the industry, which I don't think. I think of it differently. I kind of appreciate it, and as I said, I use it as a tool. Like I'm
And
not.
I feel that most I feel like the AI is like it's like a new wave now. It's gonna be like the new thing for like artists. Like I heard like an AI artist got signed to a record label for like millions. I don't know if you heard about that. But like the
No, but
record
show
label
me
ended up
where I
signing
sign
someone.
up. I mean, I'll do it.
Oh, for real, for real. So I definitely feel like that's the new wave too, especially like going towards the future.
Yeah, you know what? I agree, and I think history has proven that all the not to disprove. I don't want to discredit anybody because I understand the fear that's surrounded by it. I've lived through many different scenarios like this. In 2000, everybody thought the world was going to crash. Computers couldn't turn over 1999 to 2000 without just you know losing everything and the world going into chaos. Well, that never happened. You know what I mean?
Right.
And there's many different instances like that. There always has been when there's a technology that people don't understand. Uh, and there's a big stigmatism around AI with taking jobs and just the whole culture, especially the music industry, because there's a lot of people like producers, people that are producing and engineering that really rely on that. That's their bread and butter, and have AI walk in and do it better. It's insulting,
Yeah.
and not that the AI is doing it better, but you can achieve results in seconds. Like, I can, like I said, it's like a jukebox. I can spit out a song. If my song is good, my song's gonna pop. There's nothing about AI will change the fact that, you know, it's a good song. It's simple. So in a way, I kind of agree with you. Like I just think it's gonna take over. But I honestly think it may lean more towards being a useful tool that actual artists can take and play songs that they've created, because you still have to do all the work. You still have to, create. For me, I create songs that sound like what I hear. So if I can make a song that might sound to you good to you, but for me, it's not my style, so I won't use it. But I'll keep rolling and changing my prompts until I get what I hear. That could be 20 or 40 different songs later of the same song.
Yeah, there's still a process to it. Like time, it's time consuming too. While at it.
Oh, I'll spend all night with my headphones on listening to the same song, but different engineerings of it. So, more changes in EQ. It's the same song, but I have to listen for those subtle differences, so I get a nice clear final product just on one song alone. Never mind listening to 20 different songs and doing that. It's just there is some to it. So, and again, I don't want to take away from no music producers, man. These guys are wizards. I took studio engineering when I was a kid, and or in my early 19, 20-year old, and but I chose music because I prefer being on this side than on the board. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah,
So,
no, for real, for real. Yep, yep. You got a song called "Tomorrow Becomes Yesterday." What do you like about that song?
um, again, that it's another reflection of life. It's basically leading to, you know, if I don't take care of what's in front of me now, that day can pass, and next thing you know, more days pass and more days pass. Um, like I have one
Yep,
song
yep.
called Heavenly where it speaks to, days turn into weeks and days turn into years. Like I went through a big depression, for 5, 6 years of my life where I hated myself. I lost my career. I went through divorce. Wasn't able to live in my family environment around my children that I'd become so used to, and that was hard on me.
Yeah, it sounds like hard times.
It was like I probably slept away a good year of my life just hiding from society and life. So, that's tomorrow becomes yesterday because it can happen. I think anybody is guilty of that. It's procrastination, but on a little bit higher level.
What lyrics in that song like stands out the most to you?
I mean, the song title is The Hook. It pretty much speaks for itself. Um,
Oh, right. Yeah, for sure. You for sure get deep into that. The whole song is pretty deep.
yeah, and I appreciate you listening to it. It is definitely like all of my songs are, not all of them, but most of my songs are representations of things that have gone through my mind and things that I've you know taken from my mind and put on paper. So it's all life experience. Small victories is another one. That's a one foot in front of the other. The heavy version of I that I have of that song, it just rocks. Um, but I also have, like, I labeled them H for heavy, and I have another one, an E version for emotional, and the E version is actually an incredible version of the same song, just a little different flavor. Um, but the words, it's just, I think that when the words pop out at you about the things that you've experienced in life, there's something personal about it. those are your own thoughts, and you're singing them, or well, I'm not singing them, but AI is singing it, but it creates a little bit of an emotional avenue that hits home.
Yeah, I feel like a certain group of people could definitely like resonate to the songs you make, you know.
Yeah, and I think that group of people is the people that are having similar experiences as I am. People that can resonate with sort of being in touch upstairs, and just being able to discern or to find value in their thoughts when you recognize them. And then you hear somebody else say, hey, you know what, this person is literally feeling what I feel. That's just hits home so hard. And that's what I like about where my songwriting has evolved, is that I'm able to put my thoughts on paper. And if I had any advice to give any songwriters out there, speak your truth on paper, man. Just write it all out, and then take what you got out of
Yeah,
there and make a song.
my facts for sure.
Yeah.
Okay, on one of your videos, you say trying to elevate, or are you trying to elevate to your higher self? And are you followed up? And then you followed up by saying you can't elevate what you can't understand. You also said most people don't even know what their baseline is. Clarity comes first. See yourself clearly, then build. Can you elaborate more on that?
Yeah, it comes back to what I said in the beginning, the discernment thing. It's basically about learning yourself. In order to have a baseline, you have to understand who you are. Like you can't get a picture of self without understanding what things make you tick, what triggers you, what things you actually love, what things that you're lying to yourself about. So when you discern all that information and you realize who you really are, and good or bad, because you have to live with who you are, and we none of us are perfect. So that means understanding that you have faults, but as long as you continue to acknowledge them, uh, that becomes your baseline, because then you understand the playing field that you're on. But you can't recognize who you are without recognizing. I know it sounds
Right.
redundant, but that's the truth.
Gotta find yourself first.
Yeah, and that's all I'm trying to help people see, is just pay attention to your thoughts. And I say it repeatedly, pay attention. Like, people just going through life, just oh, that guy said something to me, well, you know I hate him. Instantly you just get an emotional response, like, you disrespect me. But sometimes it's like, is there some truth to what this guy says about me, or this person, or this, is my boss, is he right about me? Am I actually not as productive as I could be? It might hurt your feelings, but is it true?
All right. You gotta think about that first. Like, is this like comment actually helping me? Will it actually like do something for me? Can I change something about it?
Yeah, 100%. It's it basically is just a point. Your baseline is a point of being honest with yourself to the point of fault. Like, without a doubt that you have faults, but you also have good character, and trusting in that. Then you have a baseline, and you can sort of move from there. That's just
No,
how
for
it
real.
is. At least for me, it
Yeah,
is.
yeah, definitely speaking the truth. Make sure y'all hear what he's saying for sure. Okay, you said people are too busy running that same thought pattern all day long. You also followed up by saying, recognize it, pay attention, think a little out of the box, find your loop and listen to it, and then remove it. And then you said 2, 3 days, you'll be back on track. are people like living with the same thought pattern like every day, like most people?
Yeah, I mean, the only way I can really sort of put that into perspective is, let's just take a relationship, hypothetically, because it's probably the easiest to understand. So, say you meet a girl, and there's a boy and a girl, and the boy meets the girl, and he likes her. He's talking to her, but she's breadcrumbing him. You know what I mean? She's not giving a lot to him. She doesn't respond to text very often, but she does every now and again just to sort of see if he's, checking in. And then, from the
Like
guy's
still
point of view, it's
interested?
like, yeah, and the guy's point of view, he's sort of investing himself more than maybe he should be. And he's overthinking situations that he has no control over. So he's over investing himself and he starts playing these loops like, does she like me? Did I do something wrong? Why isn't she answering? Why doesn't she respond to my text? Like, what's she doing? Who's she talking to? You know what I mean? All these things that just they just confuse you. It becomes noise.
It's like cluttering your mind with like all this stuff that's not even that you can't even control, can't even do nothing
Yeah.
about, pretty much.
It's just noise. That's all it is. It's your own mind working against you. And as humans, we have a tendency to overanalyze things. And, my gig is stop doing that. Just
Just do it.
learn how to stop, take control of the who's driving.
Hey, nah, for real, for real. Like you can't overthink it or like second guess something.
I mean, so overthinking, I'm an overthinker, like hands down. The whole reason that I'm, doing this is because I'm an overthinker. And I still am. But the difference is the decisions and the recognition I make about my own decisions is what matters. It always comes down to recognizing about what you're focusing on, and then is it worth it? That's the discernment. So, you know, recognition, discernment, they kind of go hand in hand in my playbook.
Yeah. So overall, people just gotta think more outside of the box.
More like think in the box, like I'm just trying to,
Right.
because when you think out of the box, it means you're trying to look for something outside of the situation. But in reality, all the answers are going on right here.
And you're not speaking facts right there. Most def. I feel that for sure. Okay, and so you got anything like new coming up, like music wise, or even like quotes you be saying? Like, do you have any like events coming up for that?
I mean, I do have a couple new quotes that it just seems like everywhere I turn, I find ideas that experiences. Sometimes, I mean, Chat GBT responding to me, and I'm like, I really like that line. I think I'm stealing it. Like, it's the thing. The AI doesn't understand it. It doesn't get it. It's just a computer spitting out questions that I'm asking. But then it's like, hey, that's actually an idea. Or if I'm talking to somebody, like I have a conversation with my mother, and it's like, how come you don't understand what I'm trying to say to you? Then I start to look back, and then I realize there's a there's a product in there. You know what I mean? There's something deliverable that is worth sharing. And so, I mean, it just seems to keep coming, man. I don't know how it is. And it's the same with the songwriting. Like I just put my words to paper. That's all it is. It's I'm forever
Oh,
catching
yeah.
thing. I'm filling up folders with ideas, every day.
Ready to come to real life and all.
Yeah, but just to know, like for me, like I'm trying to my music is important to me, and I think music is moving, and so I'm really trying to build a catalog where people can go in and listen to songs and be like, hey, I identify with that. You know, yeah, I know it's an AI song, but it's cool. Like, is it, this song, I feel like the words are hitting. That's it's again, it's more about recognition. So that's what I'm trying to do is just put out quality, um, authentic songs.
Yeah, most before we go, do you have anything like you want to play like on the guitar? Can you give us like a little sample of something?
Oh yeah, I could probably do that. I don't know how loud it will come through for you guys. It'll probably be loud because it
Yeah,
has
we
been.
could. I could probably edit it, make it sound good.
Yeah, sure. I mean, I was kind of messing around with it. I could play some riffs I've been playing with and whatnot, just briefly.
All right, let's go. Yeah,
All right.
just a little something so the people could hear it.
Yeah, you bet. I'm gonna take the headset off here quickly and just it's easier to
Oh yeah,
hear
for
what I'm
sure.
playing. Hold on.
Hey, for sure, you do rocking out. We got a rock star right here. For sure.
Appreciate you, brother.
Hey, you
That's
already
just
know.
that's just straight fun, man. Like I love doing that stuff. Love it.
I'm not bet. So, and this was the One Horse platform. Y'all heard it first from the Grounded Mind. It was dope having you on. Make sure y'all tap out. And we gonna go live again soon. I got like a couple more interviews coming. Till then, we out of here. Peace out, man.
Peace, man. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
All right, you already know.
See
Make
you.
sure y'all tap into the next one.